What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Civic Minded. This is a Honda tape deck. It is meant for generations of vehicles that precede the 9th gen, so like the 8th gen, obviously, the earlier, that era Odyssey, that era Accord, that type of thing. And I originally wanted to plug this into the car, and like directly into the car and have it work, but I couldn't find a place to fit it, so I decided to create my own tape deck. Well, you'll see in the video what I did. I was working on 3D printing an enclosure for a blah-punked tape deck that would have controls. So the issue I was getting is whenever I plugged this in and I loaded a tape, the audio worked fine, but I had no control over it. I just had the eject button, and that was on top of it not fitting anywhere in the car. So I decided to build an enclosure with buttons on it. That failed, as you're about to see. I got part of that circuit working, and, well, you'll see what it did to my radio. Fret not, my radio is fine. It's just a temporary thing. Once I unplugged the circuit and did a key cycle, everything worked perfectly. But now what I want to do is, well, eventually I want to create a totally custom screen for the car that has a tape deck built into it, but that's a bit of a ways off. So for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this and put the controls on it so that they can actually control this deck, which does not crash the radio like that. I've already got a couple parts printed for that. This is the eject button I want to use, and these are the control buttons. I wanted to have this faceplate printed now as well, but I couldn't get to the lab last night, so I guess with that being said, I now present to you, well, let's just say the failed tape deck circuit. Or, well, you be the judge of how much it failed, but it's the one we're not using. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Civic Minded. First of all, I apologize my trunk is so messy. That's just kind of how it is. Delivery bags I never used. Well, actually I did use them, I just, I don't have room for them in my apartment, so I can't really bring them upstairs, but, today we finally reveal the long-awaited audio mod. And that is this thing right here, which is, of course, at the worst possible angle. And, that is exactly what it looks like. Yep, that is exactly what it looks like. So some of you may remember that when I did my auxiliary input, I demonstrated it with like a little Walkman, a USB Walkman to be more precise. Well, believe it or not, that's actually what I was using it for I think pretty much all the time, because I always charge my phone in the car and it's connected to Bluetooth, so if I wanted to listen to anything on my phone, I would just use Bluetooth, but I kept that Walkman plugged into the aux port, and, well, I was listening to my collection of audio tapes, which this does not nearly represent the magnitude of. So before I did the aux input mod, I actually discovered that Honda makes a single-DIN cassette player that works on the IEBus system that these cars use. I discussed that in the previous video. Well, I sort of touched on it more, but I showed it, and it's the same radio communication signal that these cars use. That tape deck was meant for the preceding generation, so I thought, why not give it a try? So I went ahead and bought one, anticipating to put it down here, which you saw was out in the last video, but turns out it didn't fit. Additionally, that deck did not have any controls on it, just the eject button, and it did not display any controls on screen. It sent the exact messages I sent in the last video, and as you saw, it was just a screen that said extension. So I figured I'd get creative and make my own that does fit. So I bought this mechanism. I did not build this mechanism. This is actually made by Blahpunkt. They offer it as a spare part. I found it on eBay, and, well, I had to order it. But I've kind of spent the last few months reverse engineering it and trying to figure out what makes it tick. And this is the circuit that I came up with, and don't worry, it will not be nearly this messy in the final product. I'm currently in the process of designing an enclosure for this, which I'll 3D print. I've already got the bolt holes for the deck. I just need to get the front cover and the top cover. I've kind of got it test mocked, and it's basically almost there. Just a couple little things I need to do with it, like the front cover, which I guess is not a little thing, but that's the eventual plan. So we're gonna have that. We're gonna have it in the car as if the car actually came with a tape deck. And it'll have, unlike the Honda deck, it's going to have the controls on front for rewind, fast forward, and direction change. So, you saw in the last video, I sent a command to change the radio to extension mode. And these are the GA-net audio lines I was talking about. So I'm going to make a circuit that or I guess code a circuit because that's all done by the Arduino. But I'm gonna have it so that when I load a tape or press the direction change button, the radio switches to this. So this isn't gonna show on the source screen, unfortunately. Well, not yet. It might in the future, but I'm gonna include the direction switch mechanism, so to speak, so I can switch the tape if I don't want to take the tape out and put it back in. So here's how this circuit works. You can see there's a lot of chips here. I'm not using half of these. They're mostly just basic digital logic chips. This one down here is an input-output expander for the Arduino. The Arduino only has 8 digital outputs, and I need a lot more than that for this, so I just have it plugged into that, and that's basically controlling the tape mechanism. So the mechanism is controlled through that ribbon cable. You see there's like a little, I don't know what you call it. There's a name for it. I am probably missing it, but it's like a little mechanical selector for the different positions of the deck. So like when it's ejected, when it's paused, I'll send that signal now. See, it just went into, if I just loaded a tape and it was stopped, that's the position it would be in. Fast forward, you see the real table moving down there. But those positions are governed by that ribbon cable, and specifically those 4 wires. The brown one's a ground, the other 3 are, I made a whole table of combinations for which wires correspond to which positions. But that's just mechanical control. And in order to move, so there's 2 motors on this thing. This one actually turns the spindles and the capstans. You see those metal pieces there? Those are called capstans. They're what regulates tape speed, and they actually are the main driving force behind the tape deck. It's not the real tables, it's the capstans. But this one drives the capstans, which are geared to drive the real tables in certain positions, like fast forward, obviously. And the smaller motor is what controls the positions, so they all come through this connector, and they are wired into the circuit. Over here is the preliminary audio processing. So we have the tape head audio coming into there, so it gets filtered and it gets amplified. I'm just gonna show an actual schematic on screen. Here's the schematic of the sort of pre-processing circuit. That audio would have gone here, which filters it further, depending on whether the tape was high bias or normal bias. And it also would have, I believe, added noise reduction, so like a sort of pseudo Dolby. I never actually built this, so I don't know for sure if it would have worked. Feel free to analyze, and if you want to try building it for yourself, be my guest. Here's where the audio would have been made balanced, so we got a couple of op amps doing that, giving us a positive and negative version of the signal, so non-inverted and inverted, so to speak. And here's what I actually was using to control the motor. That went through a lot of iterations, and I never really got it working. But I'm gonna probably be using the Honda tape deck for the final design with the custom screen, so I probably won't need to build my own motor control circuit. And if you're wondering, this LED is actually for a feature that I'm sort of beta testing. I don't have it active right now because it creates a lot of noise, but that's for music search. So if I wanted to, say, rewind 1 track or fast forward 1 track, this circuit detects when the end of a track is. Okay, I think I've talked long enough and bad enough, so let's actually see this thing in action. I've got a couple of tapes here. This one is a mix. This is a type 2, so that's known as high bias. You see how the holes on top are wider? If I yeah, it's a bit buggy. I'm working on it. But if I hit pause, it doesn't pause. Why doesn't it pause? Oh, does it not think? Sometimes it doesn't think it's in the position it's in. Yeah, see, there you go. And if I hit forward play, which I've got it programmed so this Arduino, when it gets these serial signals, which will be replaced by buttons in the final design, obviously. When it gets these serial signals, they tell the deck what to do. So if I hit forward play, as you can see, the tape starts moving. Yep, you can see that. And you can hear the music inside the car. And I'm gonna quiet that before I get flagged. So if we hit something else, like fast forward, unlike in the final design, the audio stays active, so. And if we hit rewind, Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Basically, one function of this audio amp, and you probably saw this earlier, is you notice there's 3 wires going in. That's because the audio is a balanced signal too, so there's a positive and a negative component. And they do that to cancel out noise. Not that this doesn't introduce a lot. It's built on a breadboard, but yeah. By the way, the reason the Sirius screen is on is because I found the easiest way to sort of switch to this extension, because I don't have the other circuit in there, the one that communicates with IEBus, so what I did was I turned the radio on with the Sirius tuner selected, it playing music, and then I just unplugged it. So the car thinks this is coming from the Sirius tuner. This tape deck is auto-reverse, meaning that it can play the other side of the tape without having to manually remove it. I think most car stereos are like that. The way it works is instead of reading 2 channels, the head actually reads 4, 2 from side A, 2 from side B. Currently I have it plugged into side A only, so if I hit reverse play, it'll just play the front side in reverse, like that. Kind of weird. But if I was to pause, I'm going to move this over to, I'm going to move this gray wire, which is currently connected to side A, left or right. It's kind of hard to tell, these are very close together. Left is outer, right is inner, by the way. And I'm going to plug it into the connector for side, God, I'm not even holding the camera right. I'm going to plug it into the line for side B, which is on the other side of the connector. I don't know how well you can see this, but you'll hear it. Ah, damn it. Alright, and then if we tell it to reverse play, oops, there's nothing on there, whoops. So we're going to fast forward a bit until we hear something. Oh, there we go. Alright, so now if we hit reverse play, it should play something. Oh, extremely noisy. Oops. Okay, hang on, I gotta adjust it a bit. Okay, that sounds a bit better. Yes, that is Corinne Bailey Ray. But she's on side B, as you can see, the tape is playing in the opposite direction. And eventually it's obviously gonna be an electronic switch that does this. You may also notice that when I wanted to rewind side B, I clicked fast forward. That's because obviously when you flip the tape, let me show you this, but normally when you hold the tape forward, side A forward, the reels spin counterclockwise, so the magnetic tape moves to the right. Oh, it's slowing down. Why is it slowing down? Let me kill it. Sometimes the power supply is coming from the Arduino. That's not really the best setup, but as I was saying, rewind is clockwise, fast forward is counterclockwise for right and left. Well, when you flip it, it's the opposite. So, in other words, fast forwarding side A is the same as rewinding side B. So, because the tape is still technically on side A here, even though we're playing side B, we want to fast forward side A to rewind side B. So now if we click rewind, oh, come on. This power supply is junk. Don't worry, it's all going to be running off the car battery in the final design. That sucked. I'll show you what that did. If we hit rewind again. So we had some movement, and then it stopped. But it is spinning counterclockwise, so that's rewinding side A, fast forwarding side B. Damn. Alright, well I'm going to have to do that in another machine, but hopefully you get the idea. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oops. If we want to eject it, we just send the eject signal, and it pops right out. Here's a closer look at the actual deck. You can see the heads down there, the tape goes in there, and you can see the real tables. There are the heads, and if I can get a good enough shot of it, you can see that the head actually has 4 different magnets on it. So, like I said, 2 for each side. And flipping it over, here's the capstan drive motor, the big one, and then the small one. You can see there's like a little arrow here with all the position names. Wrong way. If I spin that down to, I can feel the mechanism compressing. Notice that the tape is now in the loaded position. And if I move it into rewind mode, this is going to be cool. And I spin the capstans, oh, wrong way. Notice that the reel table actually spins with it. So spinning a tape deck by hand, that's how you do it. Because that's how you do it. And by the way, each capstan is for a different direction, forward or reverse, and they always spin the same way, regardless of how the real tables are moving. So, if it's rewinding or fast forwarding, the capstans and the black parts are called pinch rollers. They're released. And if the tape's playing in the other direction, so if it's playing, actually, I'll show you. So if the tape is playing forward, notice that only the pinch roller on the right is up and the one on the left is down. I don't know how well you can see that. But only the capstan and pinch roller on the right are going to make contact, so that's forward. So the tape will only move forward. Alright, a few days later I've tied in the IEBus sniffer circuit. Got it plugged in there. I've even got messages printing here. So, if we put our tape in, we hit pause, it should send the loading message, but it doesn't. I don't know why, but when we do send the loading message, the tape starts playing, and for some reason we can't hear it. I don't know why. Let's find out. Okay, that's weird. I don't know what's up with that, but if we go and change the audio source now, say back to FM radio, if it'll let us. What just happened? It was supposed to eject. It didn't eject. Okay, let's try that again. Tape just loaded. Okay. Don't know why we don't have sound. That's weird. I'll look into that, but we saw it was working. So now if we select a different source, we should... Oh, come on, really? Really? Okay, fine. It ejected off camera, so let's do that again. Load. No. Are you serious? Oh, this damn radio. Okay, I'm gonna restart the radio. Once again, it loaded and started playing off camera. Nice. Okay, I'm literally one bug away from building a custom system, like an entirely new screen, but let's try this again. Pause. Load. Tape starts playing. That's normal. We come inside the car. We try to change it. Nope, that doesn't work. Go to FM. Takes a couple seconds. Okay, the radio keeps sending messages that it's selected. I don't know why the hell it does that. Alright, well, obviously it's a bit buggy, but you can see the partial functionality. Did the screen change? No, it still thinks it's on extension. What the hell is this thing? FM. That's working. That's working. Oh, it spat it out off camera again. Fun. I'll keep playing with it. Really. Sending load message. That's not doing anything. Alright. We got some bugs to fix, but hopefully this gives you an idea of where I am right now. And you obviously know what the source is now, so... Yeah, I think we're gonna end this... I think we're gonna end this worst video of Civic Minded ever with have fun, drive safe, and I'll hopefully see you in something a little bit more successful. And here we are a few months later, and we've got the actual Honda deck that we're now actually gonna try to find a way to use. Like I said, I'm building a custom radio that I'm going to put a tape deck into. I will discuss that a bit more in a future video. I also want to discuss, I have a circuit for this working. I don't have it together right now because I've had to test a lot of other stuff lately. So I'll have a video on that circuit too, don't worry. But I guess for now, I hope you enjoyed my crazy experiments. Have fun, drive safe, and I will catch you in the next one.